So, hey, sorry about that. I'm a bit out of order right now. uh, but as you saw last time, we had another confession event from Trapper. Of course, we had to shoot him down because of the path we're running right now. And he actually surprisingly respected that, even though he said he kinda still wanted to kill us. After that, we played a bit of hide and seek in the forest with Huntress, and that's what has basically led up to here. And I can't help but want to pick the funny answer. So bear with me if this turns into a bad ending and I have to skip all the way back to this choice. But here we go. What if we let our pants down? Come on. I was trying to have a serious moment here. Is it all jokes with you? Uh, is that bad? Oopsie? Oh look, Claudette and Dwight are back. Okay, we swear we are here for a good reason this time. Yeah, no one is manipulating us this time. It's just time for dinner. Come get some grub. I kind of want to go back there and see what happens if I do the serious run, but maybe I'll do that after if these episodes get really popular, or if I'm asked to in general. So, we're back to going to get something to eat. Alright. So, as you remember, the last event we went to go to get something to eat, we got stopped by the other killers who were expecting us to talk about how things have been going for us on this island. But we ran away from that. Let's see. And how would you describe to others? Say too much or too little and it could affect your standing with the group. Okay, but don't just sit there and say nothing. Nothing's not an option. Till you brush with death, joke about having kids. Uh, I shouldn't. I feel like I shouldn't joke about having kids on Huntress's path. I'm gonna tell my brush with death. And today was nuts. We went to Huntress's secret cabin, and killer crabs attacked us. It's true. I'll fall asleep tonight to the delicious sound of crunching crustaceans. That would never have happened on my yacht. I grind them up. Much more satisfying way to kill crabs. At least those kinds of crabs. I have a little comb for the other kind. So Trapper just admitted that he has crabs. I suppose that shouldn't be a surprise, considering when we were on his path, he said he had a lot of misadventures, I guess you could say, in that sort of a way. But yeah, Dwight and Claudette bring out dinner. Everyone eats in silence. No one trusts anyone now, and they are all very tired. Oh wait, no, sorry, that's a dreary supernatural horror thriller set in Antarctica, not a charming parody dating sim set in an undisclosed tropical paradise. Bony appetite. Don't you mean Bon? No, almost everything we serve has a lot of bones in it, even the vegetables. Impossible to avoid on this island. Everyone eats without speaking. Tensions are rising, both of the sexual and deadly variety. I swear. I linger around here as they pick up your plate, take your napkin, and dust crumbs off the table. What would you like to say to the servers? So like I said last time, I had to be rude with them just to fit into Trapper's route, but since I'm not on Trapper's route anymore, I'm just going to thank them. Your top-notch service is much appreciated. I mean, that might be a tiny bit much, but a simple thank you would have sufficed. Everyone, if you please be so kind as to follow us to the fire pit, we'd greatly appreciate it. We've been told something big is going to happen, something that would change everything. You can go willingly, or you can go unwillingly. You have no choice. Tough cookies. Did you have a choice on how you said that, dweeb? Yes, and I immediately regret how I did. Good. Something needs to change around here. Fire is rebirth. Fire illuminates the soul. I didn't fully go into that point. I hope the fire isn't too smoky. Smoke hurts my eyes. I have pretty sensitive eyes. I'm also horribly afraid of it. The fire, I mean. Not my eyes, because of childhood trauma involving fire. And finally, everyone starts moving toward the fire pit, if only to get away from Wraith's complaining. It's a little bean. Take a seat on a comfortable log, feeling the fire's heat against your skin, and wait for other killers to take their places, wondering who will want to tell a story this time. Will narrator tell a story? I bet they've got a stunningly creative mind. Hey, you think, are they allowed to simply place thoughts in my mind like this? Doesn't seem to be fair. Alright, so this is the second story time event. We've been through this. Everyone's looking at you. So, do something. Should I pick someone to tell a story? Or could we play charades, boggle? Well, we were actually thinking, why don't you tell us the story? Wraith points his spine and skull staff thingamajig at you. You duck out of its way. Who knows what that thing could do? Probably shoot lasers. Try not to bore us. We're just very interested in you. Don't speak for me, Huntress. Now you can't tell if you're warm from the fire or if it's your nerves heating up. I know that the fire is right here, but maybe if we stop talking about it all the time, we can start to pretend it's not here and doesn't, threaten to burn us alive. So, if I remember correctly, you had like 3 options for telling a story, and I went with the bar fight story. So, I feel like also going with the I'm not telling a story thing is going with the spirits path. So I'll save that for spirits run. Whenever I might do that. I'll tell a story. I hope it's a mystery. Okay, so what type of story do you want to tell? Action, adventure, romance. I want to say I chose action last time. So, adventure or romance? Mm, okay. If I think about it clearly, I want to say adventurous wraiths thing. So I'm gonna go with romance. I'll tell a romantic story about two lovers who take poison together and die foaming at the mouth. Or about two strong hunters who meet when they both try to bludgeon the same wily Wolverine. Not quite. It's about my parents. They met at a party in college. He was hosting. She'd been dragged there by some friends. They couldn't have been more different, and yet, as the night went on, they were drawn to each other. She made fun of his taste in music, and he took an interest in her major, women's studies. They were married within 2 months. A bit soon to know if you can trust someone, don't you think? It's so sweet. Exactly. I learned a lot about love from them. If you know, you know. Some people don't need years to get acquainted with their partner. Love could spark from a mere look across a campfire. Now you've got their attention. Each killer is fiercely attempting to catch your eye from across the fire pit. Except for Trickster, who has wandered over to the bar and is loudly playing his own music on headphones to drown you out. Okay, that was not a very good story. I don't mean to insult you, but it was actually quite bad. Sorry, but this narrative keeps it real. We can't just end here. So who else would you like to hear a story from tonight? I swear. You look from killer to killer, trying to decide who might be the most entertaining. Okay, so maybe I was wrong on the adventure one, but I feel like the romance one got me points with some people, especially Wraith, but again, Huntress path. Huntress, you seem to be raring to go. Let's hear from you. Sure thing. My neck of the woods isn't wanting for horrifying mythology. Mother once told me a story of a young man who was traveling back home after the war. Which war? Doesn't matter. I just wanted some backstory details to paint a picture. I'll paint you a picture if you want. The man was lost and running out of food rations. He stopped to rest for the night underneath a majestic birch tree. That's when he saw the woman, naked, skin glistening in the twilight glow. Hot, I'm invested. Oh, I'm sorry. That just feels like something the friend who initially suggested this game to me would say. As like partly a joke. Well, mostly a joke just to mess with me. They sang a haunting melody as they made their way downhill towards the inviting lake. Enchanted by the music, the young man followed the parade of beautiful women. Wait, women? I thought this was one woman. Now I'm a bit confused. Ow. Uh, a parade of beautiful women until they stopped at a clearing next to the water. They turned to him and smiled. One woman, with long red hair, stepped forward and reached for his hand. The others began to play music. Flutes, lutes, tambourines. The melody was intoxicating. The man's feet began to move beneath him. He was dancing, moved by the magical music of these mysterious women. The twilight darkened into night, and the man grew weary, but when he tried to still his moving feet, he found that he could not. Help! I cannot stop dancing, he cried to the nearest woman, a slender woman with green hair. Oh man. This is. Well, firstly, this is off topic, but this reminds me of the dancing plague that happened so many years back. It was a weird thing that, well, as weird things tend to do, it just sort of popped up. People had it. People died because of it, and then it just suddenly disappeared. So, I'm not sure if we, I'm not sure if we cured it by creating some of these vaccines that we did to stop ourselves from getting certain illnesses, or if it was just some odd thing that passed on its own, which is very very weird to say when we're talking about an illness, since that's usually not how illnesses work. Usually you get an illness, you have to take some form of medicine, and then it goes away. But yeah, if if you're really interested, just go on Google and look up the dancing plague, because it's been a while since I heard it, and I definitely cannot do justice just how horrifying in a way it sounds. But it was something very strange and something that happened in history that genuinely feels like it's something taken out of like a fairy tale. Anyways, moving on. She drew her she drew near to him, and he saw her features distort into something horrific. She was bloated, an eye hanging from one socket, skin the color of algae, a Rizolka, her true self. You'll never stop dancing, she screeched at him. My sisters and I were drowned in this lake by men of your regiment. Consider this your punishment. The man cried out, but it wasn't me. Someone must pay, the Rizolka said, her voice filled with briny malice. So, to give you a tiny bit of backstory, I don't remember a lot of the backstory about this, but a Rizolka, well, the name Rizolka has been used in a few bits of media, including Call of Duty Black Ops, for example, where there was a boat named the Rizolka. But Rizolka is from a Russian myth. I don't remember it entirely because I look into a lot of urban legends, which usually means eventually looking into mythology, which is sometimes what these urban legends evolved from. And I did hear about Rizolka and a bunch of other Russian urban legends, like the whole thing of the red gloves, which one of the things you'll pick up on when you're going through different locales, urban legends, is that a lot of the times there will be a certain red object, which is different depending on which locale you're looking at. Russia has red gloves, and of course Japan, if you're an anime fan, you've probably heard of the red string of fate, which is supposed to connect people who are supposed to become lovers in the future. Basically, it connects them by the pinky to the person who's supposed to be their significant other later on in life. but there are varying degrees of stories about red objects. In a lot of places, there is the obligatory story of a cursed red object, like the Russian story of the red gloves. Well, I shouldn't really say cursed because I feel that implies something a bit different, but haunted is the best word to put to it. Anyways, that was a long tangent, but if I remember correctly, Rizalka are like water spirits that take on the appearance of like animals, and in some occasions people. But if you want to know more about it, again, it's really best if you just look it up. I've had it on screen for quite a while now, so you can definitely copy it from this video. But yeah. And so the man danced and danced until his bones broke and his heart gave out. The dance of death. So, again, another semi off topic thing. Hitting back to the dancing plague thing, the thing that happened with the dancing plague was that people randomly started dancing, which, of course, is pretty obvious from the name of the thing. But they started dancing, and they wouldn't stop. To the point it horrified plenty of people. Some people joined in, and soon found that they couldn't stop as well, which is weird because it seems less like an illness in that case and more like a sort of, I guess you could say, a mental state. But these people kept dancing to the point where people had to intervene and basically forcefully make them do stuff like drink water and eat. But most of the people died from exhaustion in the dancing plague, which makes sense considering that this seeming illness, if not some sort of weird, I guess you could say possession sort of thing, if you could assume that this possession or whatever it is was like naturally formed, because in every sense your body has defenses for a lot of things so that you never go too far in something, whether that be pain or something else. Your body has systems to basically stop it and essentially, essentially protect your mind and other things from it. But I'm gonna move on. If it lets me. There we go. A silent beat as everyone takes in the macabre ending. But it's not all bad. Mazalkas are also fertility goddesses. If a lady had stumbled across them, she would have been blessed with a fruitful womb, and probably some candy for the road. Dang, does she really think that's a happy ending? I want what Huntress is having. Oh, story time. A lot of people like to take pot shots at sequels, but I think every good story deserves a follow-up. Oh, what do you think? It's the end. Blah 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 blah. When you think it's the end, the sequel is almost never as rewarding as the original. That's why I'm much more of a fan of episodic style of storytelling. Knowing it's a series takes a lot of pressure off of any individual installment and builds a greater sense of community between audience and creator. Tell me, If you could delete any sequel from existence, what would it be? Don't answer that. We actually don't care. We're just here to make sure that we seamlessly move on to the next segment of the evening. God forbid any small talk get in the way of a romantic twilight moment. Dwight, I'm gonna need you to shut your trap. You know that we need to get back to that thing we do whenever we're not on screen. Okay, okay, you will have fun tonight and try not to wink wink end up dead. I swear. I swear. So, let me check the time on this episode. Oh, I went way over. It's probably because I've been going off topic this episode. I'm very sorry that we didn't progress anymore, but I'm gonna have to call it right here. I went longer than I expected to. But I hope you enjoyed. And I'll see you on the next episode. Bye.